Failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of success, says one of the amazing quotes on failure. Hey listeners, here is Giridhar and you are listening to the podcast Giridhar's Garady. Today we have someone who is smart, cool, talkative and most importantly a saucy personality. A passionate toastmaster, nature photographer, painter, bodybuilder and above all, the winner of the national title Mr. India for the year 2019 to 20. On this note, let me welcome the guest for today's episode, Saurabh. Hi Saurabh, welcome to Giridhar's Garady. How are you doing today?
Hi, Giridhar. Thank you so much. I'm doing very good. How are you?
I'm fine. Thanks a lot. Great. Saurabh, just one question before we proceed. How do you feel like being a guest on this podcast?
Oh, Giridhar, I am feeling so happy and nervous at the same time. I never expected that I will be getting a call to be a part of this show, this event that you organize, I would say. And I'm having, butterflies on my stomach today. It's an amazing experience. Thank you so much for this.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Moving on to the concept. Saurabh, tell me, what is failure all about?
It's a wonderful question, Giridhar. So, see, over the period of time, failure is a word which has got drastic change in its meaning, or I would say in its understanding, or the way how people used to perceive failure in their lives. I'll just divide the entire journey into two pieces. What happened back then when the ideology was not grown so much, and how people see failure nowadays. So in the first part, I believe failure used to be considered as a very bad sign for any effort as an output, which means if I'm trying to do something, either I will be successful or I will not be successful. If I'm successful, I'm a good guy. If I'm not successful, I am not a good guy. This was the taboo, and all the people who are not successful used to be treated or perceived in a very negative way. However, these days, I believe the trend is changing. It's perfectly okay to fail till the time the intentions are fair. It's a different mindset. No one cares what you are doing at the end of the results talk. And if you are not successful the first time, you can always try second time, third time, fourth time. Every time when you win or when you don't win, you learn. And for me, that learning is success, not the output, as success or failure is the output. I hope I have not complicated. Over to you, Giridhar.
Of course, not at all. Great. Now that we got to know about failure, tell me, what is success all about?
Another wonderful question by you, Giridhar. So I would relate this question with the previous question where you asked me, what is failure all about? Now you are asking me, what is success all about? And I will repeat the same message. A human in its life may have different goals, different dreams, different ambitions. And the journey that we start as a toddler or as a beginner or as a newbie, or if it is a working experience, it's a corporate or professional life as a fresher. In all these cases, we do not know anything about what is going to happen with us, right? And in that case, no one can give a guarantee that, hey, I have a goal and I'm going to start a journey towards achieving that goal. And in the first step, I will win. I will achieve my goal. If it is that easy, then Giridhar, everyone in this world is going to be successful. I hope you agree. If it is that
Of
easy
course.
to have a goal and follow your goal and achieve your goal, then this world is going to be a very boring place for all of us to live because no one will work hard, no one will learn anything, and the life will have no excitement in it overall. So every time when we do not know anything about what we are trying to do and we take our first step, we are actually putting our first step towards learning. Luckily, it may go into the same direction where our goal lies, or it may not get into the same direction. If it gets into the same direction and we achieve our goal with, I will say, utmost ease and comfort, typically a human mind feels that this is success. If you do not achieve your goal despite putting efforts, typically, not now, typically people believe that this is failure. However, I believe neither it is success nor it is failure. These are efforts, and the outputs, which may or may not be success, is going to be a learning. Every time we learn and then we retry and then we learn and then we retry, we learn and we grow. That growth is more important than being successful or not being successful. So that's how I see success. The more you learn, the higher you are going to grow in the ladder of success. The less you are learning, no matter your goals are achieved, you are not successful for the lifetime. You may be successful for one instance, right? So
Correct.
that's my one success, Giridhar. Yeah.
Uh, Great. So now that we got acquainted with the terminology, let's get back to the basics again. Like you were saying earlier about how people perceived failure in the past. So, can you brief me more on the perception of most of the people on failure in the past?
Yes, obviously, Giridhar. So let me take a few examples. So even I am a 90s kid, and when I was doing my education, be it school or be it graduation, post graduation, I have seen a lot of people around me, known people, maybe family, friends, relatives, or son and daughter of my father's colleagues, or any other person, or maybe through news, magazines, television news, radios, or any other kind of media, that there was a guy who was very hardworking, very talented, and when he wrote his exams for class 10 or 12 board exam or some other entrance exam for engineering, medical, IES, PCS, the person could not make it. The person was not able to achieve what he was aiming for. And for this one reason, this person got so much depressed that he decided to end his life. Okay? It's a generic scenario, Giridhar. Now
My
there
God.
are two, yes. So there are two takes I have, Giridhar, on this sweet and simple story. You might not call it sweet because there is a lot of tragedy or pain over here, but in terms of story, it's not a very big or very complicated one. So if I dissect it, there are majorly two portions. The first is that short-term goal that he could not meet. Suppose this guy was aiming to achieve 90% marks in his class 10 board exams and he achieved 80 or 85. He is not happy. The second part of the same story is there is a large life. More or less, we are 15 or 16 years old when we reach to class 10 and we write the exams, the board exam, right? So,
Correct.
having a journey of 16 years, 15 or 16 years, being responsible for our parents, for our siblings, brothers, sisters, for our other relatives, family members, friends, and many other people who love us, and we owe a lot to all of them. Taking a decision of quitting this journey of life, either committing suicide or doing anything wrong like that, is it a right decision? Only because that one instance out of these 15 or 16 years long journey that I could not achieve 90%, let's quit. Let's commit suicide and let's quit. I would say no, Giridhar. I would say no. And the reason I have very well explained, achieving 85 in place of 90, or say 70 or 75 in place of 90, is perfectly okay. The idea is, did I learn something by getting into that program, that education, reading those books, or trying to learn anything that I wanted to learn? That is more important. A book may have 500 pages, and I do not know every single line and every single word of every page. What if something I know very well is not going to be there in the examination question paper? And those two or three questions where I am totally weak are unfortunately going to be a part of that question paper. It's not at all a sign of my knowledge, right? So I, as the candidate, should think twice whether my decision of quitting life for this one instance is right or not. And that's how I would say perception about life, perception about success, perception about failures, perception about what will people think is doing a lot of damage to mankind. And we need to evolve. We need to come out of this taboo, of this, worry what will people think. In Hindi, in India, we say log kya kahenge. The
Correct.
faster we ignore what log kya kahenge, and the faster we learn मैंने क्या सीखा, what did I learn, the faster I will grow, I will shine. And that is going to make me successful as compared to what people will think success is. And on the contrary, this is how failure is being rated, and we need to change that thought process across the society.
Oh,
So that's my take,
uh,
Giridhar. Yeah.
okay. So now that you were talking about the change, that we need to change this perception or something. So, how did this perception change over a period of time in the modern era?
It's a wonderful question, and you have very well connected this with my previous answer. So, Giridhar, first of all, I would say not everything has changed yet. There are still people who are very passionate about certain goals that they are setting in life. If they are achieving their goals, they are going to be happy, motivated, and ongoing. On the contrary, if they are missing their goals just by 1% of what they aimed for, they are getting into complete depression. And this depression is causing a lot more damage to themselves, plus to their families, friends, and many other people. So the first thing is this change is not yet completed. It has begun, but there is more to do. Now, coming to the question that how did the perception change over a period of time? So I would say not fully, but partially. These days, people are getting a little bit more educated. These days, like few stories, few anecdotes that I shared in my previous answer, that people are quitting their life and getting demotivated, not willing to try again. There are many such stories that all of us have heard, and most of us have taken the initiative to get into the root cause. Now, these days, there are psychiatrists, there are coaches, life coaches, or different type of coaches who are there to provide their services or some therapies, some healing therapies, and many other solutions to people who are undergoing depression or any other kind of mental setback, and they are providing help. And that's how I have been reading a lot of blogs or articles, social media posts, and much more. And that's how even I have evolved, learning that in past days, not achieving a goal was a big thing. People used to feel that, hey, this guy failed in class 10, such a poor guy. But now it is perfectly okay. One of the very amazing example I would like to share with you with no hard feelings. Sachin Tendulkar is one of the favorite batsmen or cricketer, not only in India, but across the globe. And I hope you agree, Giridhar.
Of course.
Yeah. Now, how many of us know that he is not a great student in academics in his school days? I have heard, I may be wrong, but I have heard he was not able to clear class 10 exams probably 3 or 4 times, which means for 3 to 4 years he was stuck at the same standard because he was not able to clear the examination. Now, let's think that Sachin is also one of those people who lose all the hopes and who feel like this is the end of life. Let's not try anything else. and he stops the decision of doing anything new. Will we, all the Indians, or will we, all the people in this world, get a chance to know that there is such a great cricketer in this world? No, we will miss that opportunity because out of depression, Sachin will never try to do anything good in life which involves playing cricket. Now, if this guy has ignored the fact that no matter whatever my results are in class 10 board exam, I can still try new things. I can still give a shot to my passion, my interest, my hobbies, and I should see what I will achieve. That's how he has been able to not only be just successful, but write histories. Nowadays, Sachin is not just a human, he is a brand, he is a celebrity, and we all just not know him, we love him, we appreciate him, we praise him. And that's how I will say there is a big difference in the meaning of success and failure. Only aiming for one thing, writing the exam for class 10 or 12 or IAS, PCS, medical, engineering, or any other line, then getting successful or not getting successful is not everything, Giridhar. We should respect that behind that success or that failure, aside to that result, there is a big life that we all are living. Every single moment of that life, every single activity that we do in that life, and every single person with whom we are associated in this life is a blessing. And we need to respect it. And that is not possible until we change our mindset about this difference in between the success and failure. So, going back to the original question, how people are changing their perception. People are now realizing that not being passed is not just everything. We can either try again or we can quit that approach and we can try something new. Like Sachin moved ahead with that academic, pressure or goals and he tried his hands in cricket. So all of us needs to believe in ourselves. Not being successful is perfectly okay, but having the faith within us and having that spirit that yes, I can do it is much more important. Sooner or later, success will come and that will define what we are. One instance, one result is not just everything. That is how I see people are changing these days, Giridhar. Over to you.
Great. Good to know that at least there's a positive change, at least to some extent in this modern era. But like you were saying, there are still people who cannot take failure. So, what is basically the impact of failure on a person in general? Why do they cannot take failure?
Right, Girdhar. So, as I said last time, that there is a change, but this change is not complete, it's partial. So, connecting the other side of the coin, the flip side of the coin, I would say, there are few people who are changing their perceptions, who are not losing their hopes. On the other hand, there are people who are yet to learn, yet to grow. For all those people, they are probably getting too much emotional about the results. They are too much worried about what if XYZ will not happen to them. And that's how the results are making a big difference in their thought process, in their belief system, or the way they see the life. And then what is happening is these people are getting into depression or any other kind of you know, mental health issues. They are becoming quite severe for such people. And good or bad, but at the end of the day, they believe that if one thing will not happen good to them, everything will be wrong to them. Somewhere or the other, Girdhar, I believe that these people need our support, right? If
Correct.
they could not win once, there is a lot more in life that they can try. But this impact of not winning once or not being successful once or maybe twice, leading to this believe that, hey, this attempt is completely waste, let me not try at all. That is the worst thing. And one of the other reason why this is happening, I believe, is comparison, right? Comparison. If I see that, hey, Girdhar is such a handsome guy, he's conducting this podcast, this series of interviews and Q&As, and bringing a lot more ideas, and I can't do anything. I'm not even 10% of what Girdhar is today. This reason should not stop me to try something that I am good into. If I will always compare myself with someone else who is good in something, I will always see that dark side of life. Let's ignore the comparison. You may
True.
be 10 by 10, I may be 2 by 10. But why can't I enjoy the 2 that I have achieved against the 8 that I am yet to achieve in the scale of 1 to 10? So, comparison is one reason, Giridhar. The other reason, which I have already discussed, but I did not use the word and I would like to call it out here, is expectation or the pressure of expectation. My parents are expecting, my friends are expecting, my relatives are expecting. This is becoming a pressure, and this pressure is creating that negativity in my mind. In my mind, when I say, I'm referring to all those people who are having this negative impact of failure in their lives and their minds, that if I will not be able to meet the expectation of certain people in the society, in friends and family, I will be declared as a very bad guy. So if we remove these two things, Girdhar, first is the pressure of expectation from friends, family, relative, or anyone else. And second is this wrong thought process of comparing two people with each other. We will never be able to grow, and that reason will always have a negative impact or side effect on people and their mental as well as their professional growth. So that is my answer to your question of what is the impact of failure. These are the impact. We need to find out the root cause. We need to provide our support and help people not to get impacted, rather to come out of those negative thoughts and live a life which is more beautiful outside. Over to
Well
you,
said.
Giridhar. Yeah.
Yeah. Well said, Saurabh. Now, let me put my next question in this way, which is I feel the most important aspect of this episode. Why should we celebrate failure or failures in our lives?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, Giridhar. And I believe this question should be, the line of the day for this podcast. Why should we celebrate failures? So my reason to this question is the very first thing we should start celebrating failure and we should promote this thought that, hey guys, come on, let's celebrate failure, is it will change the mindset. One person is a person. Multiple people grouping together makes one society, Giridhar. And this society is the place where we live, we breathe, we look at each other, and unfortunately, we talk about each other. In this society, only we try, we put efforts, we win, we lose, we succeed, we fail. If this society will change its mindset that success is just an outcome, success is just an outcome, not something to be categorized as good or bad, the same day, all the people will start living a happy life. Why? Because until that day arrives, all the people who tried but could not win, all the people who tried but could not succeed, had this mental setback or this disappointment, this depression that I am a failed guy, I could not do something good, and society will see me as a failure, as a poor candidate, as someone who flunked in the class, or someone who could not crack an interview. There are so many mental pressure that we are carrying. The first way to solve all these problems is to set this norm that celebration of failure is a good thing. The second reason why we should celebrate failure, Giridhar, is Failure, as I said in my first point, is not good or bad, it's just an outcome. And if you will see that a person trying for the first time and not winning is still a person who tried, right? And a person who tries to do something always learns something, Giridhar. And I'll say something from my own experiences that every time I did not fail, despite I succeed, my learnings were lesser. But every time when I could not succeed in life, you trust me, Giridhar, I always learned more. My learnings have been more in the cases when I was not successful as compared to when I was successful. And if we understand this fact that, hey, failure gives us more opportunities to learn, failure makes us more strong person, more confident person, more knowledgeable person, then why not love this experience where we learned more, where we grew as compared to what we were before this instance happened with me? I hope I'm making sense. So these are my two very strong reasons, Giridhar. First is we need to break this taboo which is creating negativity in the society and discouraging people, creating the issues related to mental health, depression, or to an extent where people go and quit their lives. First of all, we need to break that taboo and we need to set a norm that failure is not good or bad, it is just an output. The second reason why we should celebrate failure is something which help us learn more, grow more. And this learning and growth makes us a superstar, not success makes us a superstar. Here also, I'll take some very funny and easy examples. Today, all of us know Amitabh Bachchan. He's one of the superstar in Indian film industry. We also call it Bollywood. And nowadays, he is playing role of father or grandfather because he is over 60, I guess. This guy is also popularly known for his amazing voice. He has got a husky voice, and a few days back, few years back, I would say, I got to know that he has copyrighted his voice. Now, without his permission, no one can use his voice. It is so unique and so much niche in class in this industry. On the contrary, when Amitabh Bachchan, way back when he was very young and he started his career, he was refused. And the reason for refusal, especially I heard he tried to get a job in this radio industry. He probably tried to be a radio jockey long back before joining Bollywood. And people disqualified his application because his voice was not good. So assume that Amitabh Bachchan is deciding that I don't want to do anything in life. I am disappointed. I am depressed. I have faced failures in life and I don't want to try anything new. This is the end of life. In such scenario, will you and I get to have the privilege of experiencing such an amazing superstar in Bollywood? The answer is no. And the only reason why we have the superstar is he did not get carried away with the impact of not being successful. He rather decided to try new avenues. He continued believing himself, and the way he has achieved success, like I talked about Sachin Tendulkar, we all should know the failure was not the end of life for all these people. The failure was just an output. This output must have helped them learn new things, and that learning has made them superstars, celebrities, or legends. So if failure can do that much amount of magic, Giridhar, why should you and I not celebrate failure? That's my take on it.
Awesome, awesome. I really appreciate the examples that you were trying to give in between to promote your point. Uh, Kudos to you, Saurabh, on that.
Thank you, Giridhar.
Yeah. Well, now that we started celebrating failures, tell me what are the advantages of celebrating these failures in our lives?
Another golden question, Giridhar. What are the advantages or benefits of celebrating failures? So, if I go to a normal person and I will say that, hey, I could not win or I could not pass, and I'm going to celebrate because I'm a failed guy, maybe the other person will laugh at me or will make fun of me. But the first thing is, why do I need to care about others, Giridhar? Right? It is my life, and at the end of the day, if I'm going to be successful, these are the same people who are going to laugh at me today, will come and praise me and will treat me as we are treating Sachin and Amitabh. So there are many advantages, but the journey of this entire cycle starts with focusing on ourselves. Now, if I know how to focus on myself, the second thing is to create a track or a path for my own success, my own growth, my own achievements. And in that path, if I'm taking my first step, which is not getting into a direction that I expected, which is not leading to those outputs that I was looking for, what would happen to me? I will feel that, hey, I lost all what I was trying to do and I might quit. But on the contrary, if I change my thoughts, I feel that this failure is not a loss to me, rather, it has given me an opportunity to identify my goals even better. And that's too not in the beginning of the journey, rather, after starting the journey. I believe this is going to add more brownie points to my pool of wisdom or to a set of ideas that I was holding. I am now getting more ideas. The only reason is I could not succeed, and not being successful, which is also can be considered as being failure, gave me new aspects to look at the same issue. Now there is something called as the more options you have, the more diversity you can create. And that's how there are higher chances you can create a win situation for you. Earlier, I had only two options to win. Now I have four options to win. So this failure is giving me more wisdom, more ideas, and every idea is adding one more brownie point for me to achieve my goal on a long run. And if I am going to get these many benefits, Girdhar, my very simple question is it not a great sign for me to be a person with more knowledge? The answer should be yes, right? Not being successful is okay, but having a lot of knowledge is definitely a great thing. Today, if I have knowledge, tomorrow, sooner or later, I'm surely going to win. And that assurance, that guarantee of being successful in life is the first and the biggest advantage of celebrating failures, or I would say accepting and celebrating failure in our lives. So, to answer your question in a more crisp way, what are the advantages or benefits of celebrating failure? The first is we are out of the pressure of the society. Log kya kahenge? What will people think? Second, we do not see failure as the end of life. Rather, we will see it just as an outcome, as an output, which may or may not be success. And that is perfectly okay. Every time when you know, try a coin, there will be two outputs, either head or tail. Success and failure are like the same things. You hit a coin, you get either success like head or failure like a tail. The way we never like and dislike, or I would say love and hate, heads and tails of a coin, similarly, we should never dislike failures because it is just an output. And the third point is the moment we accept the fact these are merely outputs and all that we have in it is the learnings that we carry, we feel there is lesser baggage on our shoulders, Giridhar, right? We feel light. And the moment we alight ourselves, those mental or unconscious pressure or baggages that we carry on our shoulders about expectations, about pressures, about goals, about not meeting the goals, about what will people think, blah, 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 the lesser are the chances we will enjoy the life or we will find out new ways to do new things in life and we lose our creativity, our innovation, our skills because we are losing our self confidence. So, we are having these many benefits. We are out of the pressure, we are gaining more self confidence. We are getting new ideas to try new things in life. And at the end of the day, sooner or later, we are going to be successful. All these benefits, all these advantages are going to be on your way if you know the fact failure is just an outcome. Failure is an opportunity to learn more than successful people, and if you know how and why you should celebrate failure. So that's my take on the advantages of celebrating failures, Giridhar.
Wow, superb. All right. Now that we heard about advantages of celebrating failures in our lives, let me come up with the next question as the vice versa of this one. Saurabh, tell me, what are the drawbacks of not celebrating failures in our lives?
So Giridhar, the very first thing I will say, because this question is very much related with the previous one, what are the advantages this time? What are the drawbacks? And it is quite obvious I will give all the reverse answers. But I would not like to make it so easy or simple, or I would say monotonous for all of you. The very first drawback of not celebrating failure or not knowing the value, the importance of celebrating failure is we as a human are not going to evolve and grow in life, right? If we don't celebrate failure, I know the very obvious answers which you can or anyone else in the audience can relate with my previous few answers spoken in last few minutes is people will be more prone to face mental pressures, getting into depression, having thoughts like this is just the end of life, I could not succeed, and failure is a bad thing, there is no point of celebrating it, rather take it as a challenge and blah blah blah. So all these things are very much there, Giridhar, and that's the reason why celebrating failure is going to be advantageous for all of us. But the first thing before that situation arises is for how long we as human want to live in the same 50s or 60s or 70s or 80s or 90s mindset. When will we evolve, Giridhar? Now this is the time we need to see the change. We need to accept the change and we need to believe that the world is changing and now is the time we should also change with the world. Now is the time when success and failure itself have changed their definitions. Life is no more about who is successful or who is not. Life is all about who wants to try, who has the will to do something and to keep trying to achieve something. Failing in the first or the second attempt is not at all a problem, but having the feeling to quit is the biggest problem. If we are confident, if we are sure that sooner or later we are going to achieve something, we will win. It's perfectly fine if we are not winners today. Why the hell I give more importance to someone else in the society than myself? Are these people who are raising their fingers on you, on me, or anyone else the same people who come and help us with our bread and butter? Are these the people who told us what is my goal in life and how should I pursue my goal? When the answer is no, why am I worrying about those people and their criticism, their comments, their feedbacks, or their sarcasm? I should know what is my goal and I should be wise enough to define the boundaries, to know what is my area of focus. Anything what lies out of the boundaries, including all these critics, should never be my focused area. And knowing all these things, the very first thing that I should know is if I don't know the importance of celebrating failure, I am going always to focus on wrong aspects of life. I'm always going to carry those traditional mindset that every effort is less important and every output is more important. This is the traditional mindset, and not learning what is the change is my own loss. That is the drawback of not knowing what is failure, what is importance of failure, and what is the benefit of celebrating the failure. Celebration does not only give me more wisdom, but it also multiplies my confidence, my energy by 10, by 20, by 50 every time when I decide to celebrate. It kills all the negativity in my mind. It gives me more dopamine, more oxytocin, more serotonin, that I am the one who has the power. If not today, maybe tomorrow, but I am the one who can do it. And not celebrating failure is going to be completely reverse. So let's grow, Giridhar. Let's grow. Let's decide failures are good, they are ways to learn, and let's ensure that every time we celebrate failure, we are not only out of those mental pressures, those depression signs, but we are going to multiply our energy, our confidence, our talent, our creativity by so many times that success is going to get more closer to us. That is the benefit of celebrating failure. Over to you.
Awesome. Great. So, Saurabh, so far we have listened to a few examples that you have said here and there about the celebrities. But now I think it's time to listen to your personal experience. So, my next question is this: share with us any of your personal experiences wherein you have celebrated failure or failures.
Yes, Girdhar, thank you so much for this challenging, or I would say thrilling question to me. And I have two, three instances from my own personal life that I can share with you. So, starting with the first one, when I joined my last organization, I was interviewed for a different skill set, which was the skill set for which I have been working before joining that organization. And once I started working Giridhar, just in a period of 2 or 3 months, I guess it was only two, not even three, my manager came to me and gave me a new task, a new work which was not my competency, which was beyond my knowledge, my skills. And I felt very much discouraged for a fraction of a second, or for, I would say, a few minutes or a few hours, or maybe for a few days as well. I thought that, hey, I was interviewed for some other skill. I carry some other knowledge or experience, but this manager has given me something totally different to do. How will I do? But then I didn't have a choice to say no to my manager. There were a lot of expectations, Giridhar, and I was supposed to do that task by hook or by crook. I accepted that challenge and I tried. And Giridhar, the first time I was supposed to actually give a training on a particular skill set to a large set of audience. This training did not go well. Not only the training didn't go well, rather before the starting of the training, I did not have sufficient confidence within me that I can do it. And I was just doing it because it was asked to me, right? I could not do good. But then over the period of time, what happened, Girdhar, is there was one manager within my team in that company who came back to me saying that, hey, Saurabh, you have done such a great job, very good, this, that. And she unnecessarily motivated me. She boosted my confidence. And somehow I felt relief that, oh my God, there are people who are not teasing me, not pulling me down. Rather, they are appreciating me despite I didn't do a very fair job. This gave me a bit of relief, Giridhar. And despite being failed, it's somewhat like we were celebrating whatever I did. This manager, this colleague of mine, shared good feedback with me, and I received that feedback. And this journey, this instance of giving and receiving feedback for a thing which was not done so well made us celebrate failure in my own life. Over the period of time, Giridhar, I got so much of confidence on this topic only that within a period of, I would say, 4 to 6 months only, I emerged as the best trainer in the organization overall. I gave back to back trainings on the same topic, and people stopped calling me with my name as Saurabh and they started calling me as trainer, quoting the same skill set for which I was delivering trainings. That is the power of celebrating failure. The another story I would say, as you have already called in the beginning of this podcast, that I am a model and I have been Mr. India. So being an IT professional, I just had this, this passion, this hobby to be a fashion model in life. And I started doing this modeling out of interest. There was no serious agenda that I need to go for a pageant, I need to show my skills, and I need to be the winner. I just tried it because it was a hobby, and then later on, some friends or some very good well wishers asked me to go and try for this pageant, Mr. India, and all that. So initially, when I went there, I did not have any confidence I can do good. And in the few rounds, I lost the confidence that I am going to do good because there were so many other people who are very nice. But then, Giridhar, I tried. Whatever I learned out of my efforts gave me an energy, gave me some confidence that, hey, Saurabh, you are doing so good, yaar. And despite I was not the best, I decided to celebrate my attempts in spite of feeling unhappy for not being the best in the crowd. This spirit of myself to appreciate myself, whatever I have achieved, in comparison to not appreciate something that I have not achieved, gave me more inspiration, more energy in my own life. And on a longer journey, I ended up winning the national title of Mr. India despite there were so many other people. And when I won, I realized that this was just a negative thought in my mind that I can't do it. Today, I can do it, and everyone else comes to me to seek guidance. That is the power of celebrating failure, or rather, seeing failure as an opportunity and then becoming a better version of yourself. These are few of my personal stories, Girdhar. There are many more, but respecting time, I would not drag this. So I hope this answers the question.
Superb. It's really amazing to listen to such stories, especially when you talk about Mr. India.
Thank you.
Great. So, Saurabh, like you were saying, in the interest of time, my last question to you, just
Mhm.
one message for our listeners with respect to celebrating failure.
Yeah, Girdhar. So this message to everyone in this audience or in this word, I would say, is life is beautiful. And we need to love life. We need to respect the Almighty, the God, that He has given us this beautiful life, this opportunity to live this life. When the life is so beautiful, why should we focus on the darker side of life, Giridhar? And why can't we focus on the brighter side, right? And if I'm talking about the importance of life, the dark side and the bright side, the message is obvious. The more you will see failure as a bad thing, the more you are going to make your life a dark life, and you are going to get into unnecessary problems and depression and I don't know what all. So, when all of us now know that failure is nothing wrong, it is merely an output or a pool of opportunity for us to learn new things, let's use failure as a great opportunity to make our lives better. And so, let's make our life better in itself. So, that's how life and the value of life becomes primary, and failure or success becomes secondary, Giridhar. At the same time, failure and success both are same. No one is good, no one is bad. Both are just outputs, and both are only going to give us new learnings, new experiences. With every learning, we are going to make our this very own life a beautiful life. If we want to be successful as a human on a longer run, we should never feel sad, we should never feel depressed. Rather, we should have the confidence on us that failure is an outcome. Failure is a good thing, and because failure helps us learn more things, let's celebrate failure and let's make our life a beautiful life. Not only our life, if we see people around us who are facing any such problems, let's use our positive energy, our knowledge, and make their lives also happy. Together, we can make this world beautiful, and that is all we should try and do. So, probably a bit long answer, but this is my message to everyone in the audience. Love yourself, love each other, love failure, and let's make life beautiful. Thank you, Giridhar.
Wow. Thank you so much for that wonderful message, Saurabh.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So before we wind up, Saurabh, now it's time
Mhm.
for us to move on to a short segment that is the rapid fire round. Are you ready?
Oh, that sounds exciting.
Yes, yes.
Sure,
And
Giridhar,
yes,
let's do it.
thank you. So far, we had some serious discussion. Now let's move on to this fun segment.
Sure.
Yeah. So my first question to you, Saurabh, in the rapid fire round: success or failure? I think I know the
Oh,
answer.
you tweak the story. So I would say failure. The only reason is both are same, but failure will give me more opportunities to learn. If I will be successful faster, I will be learning less things and getting my goals. Failures are equally good, and that makes me learn more. So I'll go for the second option. And at the end of the day, that is how I'm going to be successful. Failure.
Great. Now this is in line with what we have discussed so far.
Mhm.
Great. Okay. My next question to you: discovery or invention?
Nice question. I would say invention. The reason is discovery comes in place when things are already there. We are just identifying them. But invention comes into picture when there is nothing in this world and we are creating something new as an overall. So invention is one level deeper than discovery. And I would love invention over discovery, but I love both. Yeah.
Great. Weekdays or weekends?
Ah, we have a lot of work to do these days, Giridhar. And so I would love weekends. Weekends are the days when I get opportunity to try new things, to learn new things, and to get time to talk to wonderful people like you. Weekdays,
Oh,
despite the five in count, and weekends are just two, they are all same, and there are less opportunities to try anything new. So I respect weekdays, all the work, but just being a silly human, I give more brownies to weekends.
superb. Past or future?
Future, let's
Okay.
see the other side of life, what lies ahead. So future, obviously.
Okay. Host or guest?
Oh my God, it's another tricky question. I believe you are a wonderful host. I need to learn a lot to be like you. So let me take the safer side. I'm happy as a guest.
Thank you so much. All right. My next question: painting or photography?
I would say painting has been one of my hobbies, or I would say passion since childhood. But now, after growing up and being an employee model and having very less time in hand, painting is not that easy or not that much possible. It takes more time, more attention, more focus, which is not there these days with me. So I'll go for photography.
Okay. Modeling or acting?
Boy, it's modeling only. I'm not a good actor. If I will do acting sometime in future, definitely I will be going for some acting classes. So modeling is something which is inbuilt. Please, modeling, if you have any offers, I am ready to accept.
I am only a small host of a small podcast.
No worries, you will be a star very soon, Giridhar. You are doing a great job.
Thank you so much once again. Okay. Mobile or laptop?
Hey, mobile is something I can easily carry in my pocket. For laptop, I need to carry a big bag. So again, being smart, mobile.
Okay. Facebook or Instagram?
So Girdhar, here I will say Instagram because Facebook is something I am even using for last 10 years. I have used it a lot. Instagram is something I started just 1 or 2 years ago after getting into modeling, formally into modeling. And then the other reason is Facebook has got a lot of features. And if I go to Facebook, checking notifications, checking messages, checking new requests, checking post, repost, this, that. Even these days, I don't even know what are the different features or options. available in Facebook. It's a big, big, big pool, and it takes time and it needs a lot of knowledge. So Instagram is safer and more interesting these days. Instagram.
Okay, great. So my last question to you, Saurabh, in this rapid fire round. In fact,
Hmm.
the question that I like the most. Let's see what you are going to say.
Yeah.
Giridhar or Saurabh?
Ooh, you are now putting in me into the spot. I would say Saurabh only because that is safer. To be Giridhar, one needs to have a lot of talent and it takes a lot of time. So there is one
Ah,
Giridhar, and that is the Giridhar. And I would love to have this Giridhar, always the Giridhar. Let's not make more Giridhars and dilute the power that you have got and the charm that you have created. So to be safe, I'm happy as Saurabh, and I'm happy to see you as the Giridhar.
I can say that's a very smart answer and a most convincing answer. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Saurabh, for being with us on the show today. We look forward to having you once again on this podcast in future.
Thank you so much, Giridhar. I would love to visit again in this podcast and this event. And I must say, it was a great experience talking to you today. The questions, the depth of the questions have been amazing. You definitely made me think on my toes. It was not so easy to talk to you. So I can see a celebrity in you, Giridhar, and I really feel privileged that you gave me a chance to talk to you. It was a wonderful experience, and I thoroughly loved it.
Thank you so much, Saurabh. But I can say I was
Mhm.
already talking to a celebrity,
Oh my God.
Mr. India. All right.
All
So,
moments. Mhm.
yeah, thank you so much once again, Saurabh.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Giridhar. Take care.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Thank you so much, listeners, for sparing your time today. I'll be back next week with another amazing guest. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you.